Hi everyone, welcome to another episode of Women Empowerment Series video podcast. Today with me, Farisha, and I am delighted to have a very special guest with me. It's Noor Amy Ismail. Assalamualaikum. Hi, how are you?
Hi. Waalaikum salam, Farisha. Thank you for having me today. It's an honor, to be able to be in the same room, same stage with you tonight. Yeah, so bring it on.
And it's really remarkable that I have been following Amy online on LinkedIn, and I would have to say that I follow your work online, and it's remarkable. It's amazing. So, can you share with us more about your work in the UK?
Oh, okay. This is a bit of I decided to move to London specifically in 2018. Just the midlife crisis to be. Sorry about that. It's a midlife crisis thingy, and I thought I really wanted to be part of London Business School. I mean, it's a top 3 business school in the world. I really wanted to do this program called Sloan, which they offer only in Stanford, MIT, as well as LBS. So I was like, okay, that's it. I have worked in corporate and actually built a small business with my sister. We own a storage company. Apart from, building my corporate career, I thought, what I'm going to do in the next coming 20 years. That's actually not an easy answer. I personally find it very, very difficult. But if you're comfortable of doing what you have done for 20 years, it's not a problem at all. I mean, it's good. Not everybody would want to, try something new, which is okay. I mean, whatever, suits you, but I can't. Will I keep on climbing the corporate ladder? Would I do something else? So I woke up one day and said, that's it. So I went through a very rigorous interview to be accepted to this loan program at LBS. I have 4 essays or 4 interviews, 2 essays, because Sloan program at LBS, my class or that Sloan program in particular, you have to have a minimum of 20 years of working experience, and you have to be at minimum certain level, paling, it's like vice president, that's it. But most of us are all in C level, CEO, CFO, CIO. I mean, it's actually an honor and a privilege for me to be in the same class with the top CEOs from all over the world for the whole year. How do you do that, right? Of course, there's a lot of investment, there's a lot of sacrifice, given the fact that you're so comfortable living in Malaysia, kan semua ada, and you are quitting your job. You're quitting your job, and
you went outside of your comfort zone, outside of your comfort
really
zone,
outside of your comfort zone, and you started to go back to school, and you were actually in the same class with everybody who anyone you kind of saw, everyone from NASA, Microsoft, you name it, from Japan, from India, it's a different culture, it's a different set of thinking, it's a different style. I find it very, very interesting, despite the fact that, it took a lot of your investment, because it cost me about £75,000 per year.
A lot of courage.
Yeah, a lot of
courage. The risk and the
courage. Yeah. Because I always believe, when we actually had a discussion earlier before, we recorded this interview. Yeah. I mean, you said it directly, if you look at Nelson Mandela, he clearly quoted saying that, the best weapon is the education. And of course, if we looked at it from Islamic perspective, the first revelation of the Quran is Iqra. I mean, how could you be, go wrong with this kind of, so I truly support that those ladies out there, if you want to learn how to cook, it's still Iqra. If you want to learn how to, that baju is still Iqra. So for as long as we are in this,
it's a skill.
lifelong learning. Yeah, it's a life skill. And on top of that, of course, my dad, he is such an inspiration. So he did his master's at the age of 72 at USM.
Wow.
Yes, alhamdulillah. Yeah. So he was a teacher. So after my late mother passed away, so he thought I'm just gonna go back to school, and he did.
It's just a number. It's all in the mind.
Yeah. So And then while I was working, I was studying at LBS, so there's a lot of opportunity. I mean, the opportunity I didn't expect, I mean, Allah knows best. So I was already a consultant for a few companies, one of it's Fintech and two Fintech companies and one PE companies, and the pay is quite good and stuff like that. And then here came the COVID, so it's a test for everyone, but I'm sure there's a blessing, which I personally, still trying very hard.
Yeah. There's a silver lining. Yeah.
While waiting for hikmah. So, but for me, the hikmah will be I decided to, why do I just do my PhD? So it took me about 3 months to actually rework and rewrite and stuff like that, after being rejected. And you have been all comfortable all your life and suddenly you got rejected for a job and stuff like that because of COVID, or I mean, because I have to practically start everything from scratch, like zero networking. Like you don't have, like in Malaysia, people kind of, I can know you, I can, recommend you and stuff like that, but you were like practically like nothing, you're like ground zero, which I find it quite, as much as it's painful, but I kind of love the feeling. It's quite interesting to see how far I could go, I'm not in the same country. I'm practically, like everything new, new environment and stuff like that. So I started my PhD in April at Brunel University. So my PhD is PhD in management, focusing on SME digital adoption. And I have been part immediately as a consultant for the UK government in our Help to Grow campaign. So what we do, we work with the HM Treasury, kalau dekat Malaysia, it's like MOF, how we actually help the SMEs to speed fast the digital adoption. But you have to remember, UK is a developed country compared to Malaysia, emerging market. So so my paper will be, I'll be focusing on comparative study. And recently when I actually read, like bukan recently pun, 2 days ago, when Kyrie announced on the IR 4.0, the blueprint or the framework, whatever they call it, I have actually proposed the topic even earlier, and I kind of love seeing that, how aligned or how I would be able to contribute back to the country. Yeah. So I look forward. I mean, for me, it's like all interesting journey, coming next, after all the hardship, macam kena reject all your jobs. Yeah, so again we go back, being a Muslim, inam al usri yusra, inam al usri yusra. So whenever there's a hardship, there's a solution for it, So you don't worry about it. Tak apalah setahun pun, or tak apalah 2 tahun, because one of the best thing that my friend
there's always
ever
a reason
said to me, like,
behind it. There's always a reason.
Hold into that. Be more sabar, because whenever he's doing something, he's preparing you for something bigger. Yeah, which I have to say, yes, I would have not thought that I'll be doing my PhD so fast at the age of 45. I'm quite old, kan? And then at the same time,
age is just a number. It's all in the mind.
Yes. And then at the same time, I'm actually consulting the UK government,
Amazing.
how
That's
to speak
amazing,
fast the digital. Alhamdulillah. So I look forward to work with people in Malaysia, that I could do a knowledge transfer, because by the end of the day, it's a two different things that we are comparing: a developed country and an emerging market. How do we learn from each other, actually? Yeah.
Yes. Okay. And the next question. Question number 2. What is the most challenging period in your career? The most challenging period, and how do you overcome it? How do you get back up? How do you bounce back?
Okay. I mean, sincerely, I have been working in corporate for 24 years, and I have been blessed, throughout the 24 years. But because I have a mentor, I have good bosses, which is, I think, very important. And as a woman, we need, or anybody, we need a good mentor, because it will help you, it shapes you in certain way, shape your thinking, and you also need feedback. You don't worry about, when people give you feedback, open, tak apa, accept
constructive criticism. Yeah.
but it's not easy journey. When I was younger, you just like, why these people and stuff like that. But as you go along and you learn a little bit more, you be a bit, you are more matured, and you kind of appreciate all those things.
Yeah.
You just have to step back. But it's okay if you're still young and you masih tak nak dengar cakap orang and stuff like that. It's okay. You just have to go through the process. You have to learn. I mean, which is true, and people say like the best learning progress is when you make mistake. Yes, I agree, but you can only make the mistake. You can only make the mistake once, not twice. Boleh buat mistake.
It's a learning curve.
Twice.
Yeah.
So the most challenging is where I decided to quit my job, quit my corporate life, and left a business to my sisters, where our 15 years old punya business, and decided to come to London. It's not easy. You have your life built, everything here in Malaysia, your house, your comfort, almost everything, right? And then suddenly, like, you're not earning, you are spending, and you're going back, you're suddenly back at school. So but it has also been the best decision I've made
in your life.
Yes, because like I never thought that while studying, I am also managing 2 outlets in Bayswater, London. So we brought Tea Life, bubble tea shop dekat Bayswater, just opposite the Bayswater station. And I also
Malaysia Hall,
run
Malaysia Hall.
Near Malaysia Hall, like if you go to London, like every time you go to London, you really nampak all Malaysians. Yes. And then just across the street, like a few blocks away from our tea life, we have a restaurant called Putri Putri. It's a Malaysian delicacy. It's like totally different from it's totally different. It's F&B. I've always been in corporate and stuff like that. But what I wanted to see is how far I could go. How far it can go. It's not easy, I don't have contacts, start from scratch, buat business dekat tempat lain. You learn about the regulations.
You build the network.
Yes. So and then it was actually in the middle of pandemic, the business got hit, and then what do you do, as a SME, like in the UK, we do a lot of
food delivery service, kan?
Yes, food delivery, and alhamdulillah, we were also given an opportunity to work with Mercy Malaysia UK. So we also distributed about 1,000 meals throughout the winter sampai Ramadan to yang orang homeless, refugees, and stuff like that. So the restaurant itself is not a restaurant. I mean, if you were to ask me, it's actually a place that you build your network, as well as you do a place that for you to pay it forward. So I am looking forward to see what's next for both Tea Life and Putri Putri. We've been like baru 9 months old. So it's also good because I'm doing my, who have thought that I'll be doing SME focus, SME digitalization, while I also have 2 small businesses in the UK.
That's amazing.
So
that you managed to juggle
small businesses.
And to manage all that. That's amazing.
I mean, I have a great team, but for me, it's always about testing how far I could go. Macam, I just want to see how far I could go. That's it. I mean, self-satisfaction. That's it.
Okay, now to the third question. Question number 3. Okay, what does woman empowerment means to you?
Okay, I know so many people ask me this question, and sometimes I, as much as I believe that we women should, come together and work towards the same mission, but I think it has also been overused, the word women empowerment. So I think one thing that I learned, one thing, if I could share, women empowerment is not about sameness. We are not fighting. We shouldn't be fighting for sameness, but we should be working towards equality. So it means sameness maksudnya lelaki tak boleh jadi perempuan dan perempuan tak boleh jadi lelaki. I'm not interested in saying this because it's impossible, because again, I look at it from also a different perspective, Islamic perspective. But what we should work towards is actually equality. But when we talk about women empowerment, we always sound like so feisty, macam, oh, kita tak boleh buat lelaki kena macam ni. No, I think it's actually a very, very wrong approach. So what we should do, we should work hand in hand with them. It will take years. Maybe it's not during our time, but do not separate ourselves from them. Yes, there's only, they are on the board, they are the leaders and stuff like that. So we have to take advantage of that, because when they are in that position of power, work with them so that they can actually voice their concern. We can't be working and doing it alone. Oh, perempuan je, gang ni, tak boleh. That will not work. So you have to work hand in hand.
Yeah,
be
side
smart
by
in
side.
using their position.
We have to work together.
Yes.
Yeah.
So you use their voice to get what you want. I mean, they are in a position of power, like it or not, reality bites, but it's not going to happen maybe now. Maybe it's in the next coming 15 years. It's not going to happen so soon. If I could recall the World Economic Report, World Economic Forum report on gender equality, if you look at Malaysia, we are actually, like, I think out of 144 countries that they are doing the survey, we are at 114 or 111. And it represented they did like 4 research, like education, politics, health, and I can't remember once, but while I'm talking to you, so our political representation is actually very, very low. We are at 138. So we are actually even below average. We are at the lower quadrant or lower list of this gender equality, so we have to be very clear. What is gender equality? What is gender sameness? Sameness, we are not interested, especially if mostly I'm not interested in gender sameness, because we are built differently. But I think this is something that we really have to work on. And like what you are doing, Farisha, is actually very good. We go out there and we speak. And before we speak, you have to have substance. You kena ada substance. You tak boleh, you cannot go out there without substance. That's why, ikra. I wouldn't be able to, say, I was like, oh, like you said, right? Like you interviewed kindergarten teacher. They totally forgotten that they actually have, they play a very important part, dekat UK, for example. Early child education, very important.
Yes.
So
because
maybe
the
by
children
giving
are
them
our
this
future
chance to
generation.
speak out, to correct. Because if you ask me, zaman I dah, it's just towards building the next generation. I'm 45, like what's next, right? But you at least you want to leave a legacy before you go. You just want to see that your anak saudara just now, the little girl, you want them to be able to take care of themselves. You
want to pass the baton
they
to the next generation.
Yes. So I hope, and I personally have, like, numbers of followers on Clubhouse or Facebook and Instagram, and I feel responsible for whatever that I post. Itu sometimes you use your social media power untuk sebarkan kebaikan. I back and I pledge
good contents.
Good contents. I'm not someone who against TikTok, but I think there's touch wood wasatiyah, like sederhana. So you just have to remember, kita ada tanggungjawab bila kita ada budak-budak yang ikut kita. So
you have to know your limits and boundaries.
Yes, it's not that you being hypocrite or stuff like that. Don't try to position yourself that way, but it's just that just imagine that if you have a daughter, what will you want your daughter to be? That's always a question that you have to keep on asking yourself. Or like for me, if I have a niece, or macam what do I want them to learn? Bahaya tau with this social media, all this needs. So we have to ask ourselves, do you want your, I mean, I'm not sure, I'm not a mother myself, but I'm always very concerned, about kids growing, and especially, their lack of social skill now because of COVID. Duduk kat rumah je. so they do a lot of this internet surfing and stuff like that. So kita mak or kita auntie or kita kakak, so we must be responsible of what we're trying to tell them.
Yeah, that's right.
Macam makcik pula
Okay, and the next question, Amy, who are the most inspirational women leaders that you admire in Malaysia and also internationally? Someone that you look up to, like an icon, an inspiration, a mentor.
Well, yeah. I mean, of course, every woman will say it's their mother. I would say that too. But answering your question, I'm actually quite surprised, despite having a different political preference or political opinion. I was listening to Rafidah Aziz like 2-3 days ago. I mean, if you were to ask me, I actually don't have anyone. But after listening to her, despite our political differences, I mean, I don't agree with her on certain policies and stuff like that, but I love how she articulated the topic during the discussion. So I think we need more people like her who are very vocal, but again, I tak agree
Very
on certain
outspoken.
political stance. Yeah, very outspoken, but she speaks with substance. Tak kira lah kalau dia kata dia percaya benda tu, dia speaks with substance, so yeah, so listen to her. I think just listen to her talk and stuff like that. I mean, memanglah dia very vocal, I understand, tapi for me it's the characteristics that you want to learn from, yeah, so that's one. And I am actually quite happy that you mentioned Jessica Ardern, despite again different policies. Ada je policy dia yang I agree, ada juga policy dia yang I am macam no, nah lah. But I love the fact that how she handled the crisis, the Muslim crisis, as well as so I think job well done from her side. So yeah, sometimes you don't have to agree with that person in the political perspective, but just learn the best characteristic. So that's Tan Sri Rafidah Aziz, and for Jacinda Ardern for me. Yeah.
Yes, two remarkable ladies. And
but again, despite political difference, but sometimes kita tak boleh, we have to be objective. You look at the person, from different perspective. Of course, I tak setuju lah diorang punya political punya argument and stuff like that, but I like the characteristics. So yeah.
Okay, so we have come to the last question. Okay, so the last question, Amy, what is your advice to the younger generation, to the Gen Z, millennial?
Okay. As much as you want to learn from us, the older generation will also look forward to learn from you. It's actually a huge gap. This is the problem with the leadership in the country, that when you cannot close the gap of this generation, it's not easy. I mean, rest assured, it's actually not easy. I have nieces who are teenagers and stuff that even that, even that I'm struggling. So this is what leaders, or if people like us, leaders, they are going to be future leaders, and people like us has been through and done that, even though 20-30 years. This is where we learn as much as we could to actually close the gap, so that we speak same language. I mean, I'm not trying to say that you zero-rise the gap altogether. That is actually impossible, because the way they speak pun you tak faham. But it's just that how you as a leader, that you be able to encourage them. This is the problem. The gap is so huge. This is the problem in Malaysia, if you're looking at it from political perspective, educational perspective. The gap dia jauh sangat. So you have to close the gap, you as a leader and the youth, So it's always a question that we have to ask ourselves, like, how do we actually do it? My answer is very simple. Iqra. I mean, you go back to education and, the learning. Yeah. So how best you can become a leader is how best you can be a better coach to all these young people. Yeah, and it's not easy to be a coach. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Amy. Thank you so much for sharing your stories and also your career journey and your experience. And I think that is a really amazing and remarkable journey to step out of your comfort zone, right? It's not easy to take the big risk and, fly to UK and then, start fresh, and you just, come out from your comfort zone, and it's not easy. And you've done it.
Yeah. Alhamdulillah, a long way to go since I just started my PhD. So that's inshallah another 3 years. So God, I submit to you and tell me.
Inshallah.
What's next? Inshallah.
Yeah, inshallah, if ada rezeki, kalau ada rezeki someday, if we are allowed to travel after we are vaccinated and then the borders are open, I would love to visit you in the UK. Yeah, and then try the food at your restaurant, Putra Putri.
Yeah. Lagi sedap agaknya ke pada Malaysia punya food. Malaysia, sebiji macam Malaysia or better, I don't know, but alhamdulillah, the still has been picking up because the UK government has started to ease down the lockdown. So alhamdulillah, slowly.
So
it's a
things
challenge.
Has goes back to normal, like in London.
No, not yet. But because of this Delta variant, dia naik balik. But then again, about 76 million of us have been vaccinated because the population in UK is about 67 million. Malaysia 33 million. Malaysia 33, UK 67. But I think I think by now it should be almost 80 million been vaccinated because the ramai dah dapat the second dose. Yeah, I mean, they're a rich country, they can buy the vaccine anytime. But then again, it's not so much about that, it's how the process. Dia tak adalah macam apps rosak ke apa ke, tak ada. So
the smooth process.
Actually well communicated. I'm not comparing. I shouldn't be comparing apple to apple, but it's just that, money wise, of course they have the buying power, but it's just the process. The process tu macam sangat langit dan bumi. You make all the. I'm always so nervous. Like I'll ask my sister, dah dapat ke vaccine? Just like playing games to get vaccinated. So I found it very painful. Yeah.
Okay, Amy. So we've come to the end of Women Empowerment Series video podcast show. Do you have anything else that you would like to share?
Well, keep in touch. Feel free to look for me dekat LinkedIn or any social media. Let's be friends, and let me know how can I further contribute back to the country, as cliche as it may sounds. But and I also look forward to learn from each and every one of you, especially the youngsters. So many things to learn from them.
Okay, Amy, thank you so much for being in Women Empowerment Series video podcast. And I hope to see you soon. Until then, stay care, stay safe. Bye.
Thank you for having me. Bye. Bye.